My GF of 12 years has a crush on her coworker. I, 25, have been dating my girlfriend, Anna, 25, since middle school. We're both each other's first BTA. We recently graduated from university, both with good career paths, and have been living together for 3 years. Anna started working July of this year and had a fairly rough start. She became friends with this older guy called William, 35, who's been working there for 10 years, and they kind of just hit it off as co-workers. They started texting each other a bit outside of work around September because he was having marriage problems and wanted someone to talk to. I really didn't mind it at first and thought it was nice of Anna to be supportive. But today, while trying to update a game on Anna's computer so we could play together, Messenger opened with the startup, and I couldn't help myself to snoop a little. Apparently, for the past few weeks, she's been flirting with him fairly explicitly. William even sent her a picture of his new torso to show off his abs, and Anna answering that she would jump on him next time they saw each other at work. The vibe I got was that it's just banter, but with some inappropriate connotations. When she got home from work today, I confronted her about it. She admitted that she has a crush on her coworker, but she never did anything physical. She never intended to and thought the flirting would just fizzle out after a bit. She told me that she's really sorry for what she did and that it was completely selfish of her to only think about herself during these events. I felt deeply hurt by all of this and packed my things. She tried really hard to stop me from leaving, but I just couldn't stay. I just can't believe she would disrespect the 12 years we've committed to each other to some flirting with a married man who has a wife and kid. It got really late and had nowhere to go, so I booked a room in a hotel near work. I couldn't bring myself to go back home to my parents because I know they'd never let me see her again if I told them what happened. A part of me really wants to give her a second chance and meet with her tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll be going back to a relationship that's already been soured. I don't know what I should do. Should I go back to my parents? Should I give Anna a second chance? Am I overreacting? Help? Update first of all, I want to thank everyone so much from the bottom of my heart to taking the time to respond to my original post and giving me advice. I honestly don't think I would have survived the weekend without you guys. I think I owe everyone who took their time with me an update, and here's what happened since. I don't think this is the choice many of you might think I should be making, and I don't know myself if I'm making a huge mistake. But this is what I've come to terms. I'm going to give Anna a chance to make things better, and we're going to try rebuilding things from scratch. I want to take some time together and get to know each other as if I'm getting to know this new person for the first time, because she is clearly not the person I thought she was. If it works out over the next few months, then hurrah. If not, then I'm fully ready to end things on good terms. I can no longer make excuses for myself on who I might be trying to date. After I left home on Thursday night, I stayed close to work over the weekend because I was working Saturday. I decided not to go home to my parents because I don't think I would have been in a good environment to think about everything objectively and reflect on myself. I did spend some time with a few close friends, and they have been nothing but supportive. I owe them big time, and I'll have to take time to thank them properly when things get better. During the weekend, Anna did try to reach out to me, but I decided not to answer back and really take some time before I said anything. On the first day after I left, I was mostly consumed by anger and frustration. I hated myself. I hated Anna. I hated the guy. I didn't know how I could possibly move past this. I started having panic attacks, which wasn't something I knew I did. On the second day, the anger kind of melted away, and I was mostly just sad. I was disappointed that things turned out how they were, and I really experienced with every fiber of my being just how hurt I am. On the third day, surprisingly, I felt calm and somewhat came to terms with how things were. I tried to look at things as coldly, as objectively, and as honestly as I could. To my surprise, I did not feel for a second any relief for being away from the relationship, and I was actually thinking really hard about what could be done to make things work. I felt like I was in problem-solving mode rather than a vindictive mode, which helped me realize I still care about her. I tried to make it as clear to myself as I could about how understanding I am willing to be with Anna and what I need for myself to be comfortable again in this relationship. I made lists. I talked to a few Redditors who shared similar experiences, and I'm extremely grateful for all of you to have shared your stories with me, and scrutinized myself with the pros and cons I think, and I might be really wrong, that I might be sadder not being in this relationship than being in it while trying to cope with all of this, if that makes sense. Finally decided to go see her, talk to her, and see where it goes. I wanted to go into the meeting with no intention of getting back together, just to give Anna a chance to make things clear on what she thinks, what she wants, and what she's willing to do. Honestly, she pretty much said all the right things during the time we were apart, while she honestly did not know if I was going to come back. She already quit her job as she's staying till the end of the month as a professional courtesy to her boss and cut contact with William. She deleted her conversation with him and plans on blocking him once she can be sure she won't be contacted anymore for work-related things. For the remaining time she will be working, she will only be sharing about 3 hours a week of shift overlap with the guy. She made me believe that she was remorseful and very self-critical about what happened. I also brought up wanting her to come clean to the wife. She was reluctant a bit at first, but did not push back when I told her that I would think better of her if she did. She currently has no means of contacting the wife, but she told me that she would do everything she can to get it done. We talked for hours, went to grab some food, and we talked some more. Maybe I'm just really good at gaslighting myself, but I've become more and more understanding of what put her in the situation. By no means am I justifying that what she said and did was all right. Heck, this is still the most painful thing I've ever experienced in my life, and I don't know if I'll ever forgive her for this, but everything that led up to it made sense to me. Hear me out if this makes sense to you too. First, we are the only romantic love interest we've ever known growing up, and she has been more than good in this relationship up until this point. It is only normal for her to be a little curious, right? I know I've thought about things too. I was just never stupid enough to act on it because I know the value of what I have. Second, her entire university college experience was squandered by COVID and never made any friends in her field. She never went out to parties, she never hung out with classmates, and she never even went to school for 3 or 4 years of her program. She was never a very social person, but she never had the chance to mature and discover herself socially. I was lucky enough to be in a program that was small and had to be present through COVID. I can tell just how much I've gained from my time at university. Lastly, I have to admit I wasn't perfect in the past few months. When she started working, she was under a lot of stress, and to a certain extent, I wasn't as understanding and supportive as I should have been. I wasn't attentive to her needs, and on a complete side note that shouldn't even matter, I kinda put on some weight since I started working law. At work, she thought she was making a friend in her field for the first time since she started working by talking to William, and when she told her about the stress she was going through after I failed to make her feel better, he was a lot more understanding of her situation than I was. I can honestly not blame her for feeling this way. I don't do what she does, and I cannot claim to have done a good job of understanding what she goes through. She made it clear that she initially just wanted to make a friend, regardless of how clueless and naive it may sound. How things degenerated from there, she is aware was entirely her fault, rooted in selfishness and just looking for self-validation gratification. I definitely can't accept any excuses for that, and she couldn't come up with a more structured answer for now. She never did anything physical, and she'd like to think that she wouldn't have crossed that line if it got to that point. Whether that is true or not, we unfortunately will never know. For now, I believe her enough to just sit on it. After our long discussion, she showed that she was supportive of me, focusing more on myself moving forward, where she would have to put in effort to be the glue to hold us together and make things right. For the next few months, we are planning to take some time away from everyone else and just spend time together, talking, going to therapy, figuring things out. I told her that I wanted both of us to be as truthful as we could with each other, regardless of how much it might hurt the other person, because I want to know where the bottom is before attempting to rebuild anything at all. I am fully aware of how trying and painful the next few months or even years are going to be for me, and I honestly don't know if we'll make it past this, but I think she's shown enough for now for me to want to give it a try. I know this is not the satisfying conclusion that a lot of you might be hoping for, and I'll stick around a bit to answer some questions. What do you guys think? Does anything I said make sense? TLDRGF of 12 years has a crush on her coworker and has been exchanging flirty texts. I packed my bags and left and don't know what to do anymore. Am I overreacting? GF of 12 years cheated emotionally with a coworker, and I'm gonna give this relationship a second chance. Rough, I know.